answer what this guy said on YouTube about Obama's plans.
Elected scares me because you have drones like you saw in that first video who see him as the Messiah. But not so much that, because I'm sure it's just a minuscule amount of the supporters that see that. At least I hope. But the gentleman is a socialist.
Now I know you hear a lot about, Marxism and socialism and communists. To me, Barack Obama is only proposing to raise, the top marginal rate from a current 35% to 39.6%. That was the current marginal rate that was being paid under the Clinton administration. As far as tax. Now, to answer your charge about socialism, I just, the first thing, that comes out, here's a guy who supported, Justice Scalia, with wiretapping and the death ruling. And I don't think a socialist would, behave in that manner. Now, back to what you were saying. Barack Obama is no more than a socialist than John McCain. After, they both voted on the bailout, that nationalized some of these banks and rewarded them on the lending practices that they practice. Now, we all know that John McCain, he wants to buy some of these home mortgages and socialize the debt for all. Now, in that case, can that be socialism on your part? Here's a guy that once supported the tax cuts for the working American, said in good conscience that he could not support it. Was John McCain a socialist then? I think the socialist call is the Republican way of trying to protect big business while saying that your wealth will be redistributed around and spread around only to scare voters in order to protect the ones that's on top. Now, if you think about it, look at the social programs that we have, such as Medicare. Look at public, education. Conservatives love to connect socialism with communism, considering the fact that we borrow from China to pay for this war. Communist China at that, to pay for this war. And it's kind of hard for McCain to call Obama a socialist when George Bush, when the efforts that he supported, nationalized banks. Here's a guy who has doubled the foreign subsidies, greatly increased the role of government involved in education, expanded it, and increased government at the largest deficit in U.S. history. I mean, for you to go back and say, well, Barack Obama is a socialist, I mean, look at the socialistic activities that's going up under President Bush right now. And business is really a huge redistribution of wealth anyway. It's not no big corporation, and they do not, try to make profit off of anything. Whenever we look at government, it's really a huge redistribution of wealth anyway. And I also think that the people that makes, at the top 1% makes the most should be taxed even more, because they use a lot of the government services, like the roads, the highways, the hospitals. They use a lot of the government services. And when those roads and services and other services break down, guess who has to pay for it? The government. The government has to pay for these roads and services. And McCain's plan of the gas tax holiday would have took away the money from the Highway Public Trust Fund, and that would have made the less revenue for these roads and bridges to be fixed. And just to put it in a whole nutshell, I mean, this whole thing about trickle economics is not working. It is not working. I mean, the more oversight, their code words, and more deregulation, it's just not working. Because if you look at it over the past decade, CEO workers have nearly the CEO, the bosses of the company, I mean, they have walked off, with these record profits, and record salaries, while the average worker actually salary has dwindled over the past 10 years or so. Why is it that not trickling down and they get this huge parachute while these workers get laid off and get basically nothing? So this whole thing about trickle economics is not proven to be true. It's been proven that if you help the middle class, and give them the break that they need, then they'll have more money to spend to help these large corporations, get back to where they at. When the consumer is spending, everybody does well, the corporations do well, it happens from the bottom up, if you have a tree or something, and you plant that tree, you put water on the ground, the tree gets its source from the ground, and it goes up and make that tree healthier and strong. What we have seen is help at the top, and when you get so help at the top, it all collapses. We've seen this happen with the markets crashing, So I think that people is beginning to see that, and see that, trickle economics that was put in place in the sole thing of the Reagan administration. Matter of fact, Reagan was my favorite Republican because he was, a laugh. But the policies that he put into place really didn't help the middle class. So this whole thing about socialism, and it's just cold words. It's just cold words to scare the American people. That's all it is.